How long is it going to take? That's a question that I hear day in and day out. And you know what? It's a good question, but it's a tough one to answer. That doesn't mean that I'm going to run from it, though. When I am giving a client advice about how long it's going to take to take their case from injury to full compensation, there's three things that I look at. Firstly, I look at the type of injury that they've suffered. Second, I look at the impact their injuries have had on their lifestyle. And third, I look at the duration of injuries. So I'm going to give you an insider's look into each of those factors. I'm not going to go on forever. I'm going to get to the point so you can get a good handle on it. Injuries. What am I talking about? Well, have you suffered a whiplash injury? Have you broken some bones? Have you suffered a spinal cord injury or a brain injury? Because each of those are very different, and the length of time that it takes to resolve a case is directly impacted by the type of injuries that you've suffered. The impact, well, I'm talking about your ability to work. Can you go back to doing the same type of things at work you were doing before the accident, or are you only able to work part-time? You can see that that's a big question. We're looking at your recreational, your sports, your hobbies, all these things that you do for fun. Are you back into those, doing what you were doing before the accident, or are you still having problems? That's a big thing for a lot of people. We have the question of domestic duties, cooking, cleaning, laundry, mowing the lawn. Where are you at in terms of being able to get back out in the garden? You know, these are questions that we need to really have a handle on. Now, the duration of your case is something that's got to be closely looked at. Have you had problems that only lasted a few months? Are you still having pain and difficulties after a couple years? Or are your problems permanent? Because they're all very different cases, and they all strike right at the heart of how long it's going to take to put a check in your hand. I'll wrap it up for you. Before I can look you in the eye and say we're in a good place to settle your case, you need to be at one of 2 points on a spectrum. A, your problems need to have gone away, fully resolved. Or B, we need to have a medical report from a specialist saying your difficulties are going to be permanent. Because if we don't have one of those two, you're in a no man's land, and I'm not going to be able to get you what's fair.